you know that today's session is going to be different. But first of all, even before I go into today, thank you guys for being there all week. This has been really helpful. One of the things I've loved about our sessions is everybody that comes stays, and the feedback has been phenomenal. Our goal was to give you something that can help you grow your business, and I'm glad to know that people are actually benefiting from the conversations we've been having. Today's session is going to be very open and different. Be ready to talk because we want to really have an interaction, but in that interaction also give you some powerful tools that you can use to take your business to the next level. Our goal is that anybody here today can have one or two things that they can pick up and then to go and then see to help their business grow. Basically, that's what we are trying to achieve here. With that being said, I will jump into today's session. I'll be doing this with Barbara Lettles. You've already heard her talk. I think everybody was saying she did great on the legal system. I think that is how do I put this? That is like if you do from a 1 to 10, the legal system is probably a 9. A 10 is actually leadership and strategy. And so I'm really excited to kind of even learn from her. So I have my notepad ready so I can write a lot of notes because I learned so much when I talk to her. So this is going to be awesome. Today, like we said, is going to be focused on growth. Okay, how to get growth in your business. And especially on the back of COVID-19, a lot of people have seen their business come to a standstill and they've not seen traction, and they've been asking themselves, how can I restart or get my business going in a way that can be beneficial? I want to start with a very interesting story that became very popular through COVID-19. There was a gentleman. He had a bookstore. Actually, he had a bookstore in Italy, and according to the report, this gentleman sold all his assets and even used part of his retirement funding and everything to start a bookstore in Italy. The moment he opened the bookstore, a month later, COVID-19 hit. So now he has to close the doors to the business that he's put his life into. And now he has no source of income. Everything is shut down. He was back to zero. And remember, I said in the beginning, he sold all his assets, so he had nothing to fall back on. It was really tough time for him. And through the challenges, he thought of an idea. He put up a picture on his social media page with his bike and in a book. He held a book and he said, free delivery for books for anybody that is interested in buying books. He lived in a community in Italy that loved to read. So to his surprise, there was a lot of traction. People started reaching out to him and asking him for books, and he started delivering books. He started going from door to door based on the request, delivering books to the different people. In fact, when the report came out, he was making an average of about $1,000 a month in sales on his books. In the month of April, he made $20,000 because of the delivering of the books and because his market had risen so much. So in the midst of the COVID-19, when people were losing money and people were losing business, his business grew 20 times. And to me, that is a phenomenal story, and that is why we are here today. That is when you think about strategic planning, strategic growth, that is a typical example of how you can flip your business from being a business that is at a standstill to making it grow in that level. And we are going to kind of dissect the thinking of this gentleman through some of the principles that are inherent in the story I just told you. And you can also apply those principles to your business. And so your business will not be at a standstill. So the focus of the story is how you can take your business from wherever it is. If when we went through the list, I think there were a few different businesses on here that let me read through some of the businesses we have up here. And the thing is, a lot of you might have been in a place where right now you are seeing less traction in your business. And what can you do? How can you, shift your thinking or pivot and still get your business running and making it profitable? I see that there is a care to you antique and more. So that means you are selling stuff. The question is, when COVID-19 closed the economy, does it mean that you stopped selling? Have you had a chance to really think on the business to see what is it that I can do that I can get people to buy antique stuff? Okay, who are your customers? One of the things with the story I just told you, I think the most brilliant part of the gentleman's thinking is he understood who is his customer is and what his customer needs. And the truth is, yes, he had a shop, he had a storefront, but the storefront was just a channel to really deliver what he actually wanted to deliver to his customers. And so when the storefront was closed, he didn't say his business is done. He realized that if he can still meet the need and still provide value to the customer, his business is still alive. And by thinking differently, he was able to grow his business 20 times. In fact, getting to the end of the report, it said that he was even worried that the economy was about to open up again, because the moment that happens, now he has competition because all the other bookstores are going to open. So for him, getting a closed, the economy closing was like an opportunity. So if you look at whatever your business is, Glamour Glow and Nails, T Wilk Fashions, my question to you today is, how have you had a chance, or how do you think differently on your business? I'll let Barbara kind of chime in, and then we'll open up the floor and kind of hear from one or two people as well.
Yeah, I think one of the important things to think about is, Kwame, is the framework of our business and the model, the business model, what business model we have in place. Because there's the business model and then there's the delivery. So the person who had the bookstore, who had people coming into the bookstore, he still had the same business, but now the delivery model had to change because of COVID.
Yes.
And so we generally don't think about multiple delivery models or how to pivot during that time. But it's important to think about business, in terms of, as we talked about, before, people, processes, and your product. And usually people are either good at one, and that's the one they tend to stick with, but you have to be all good at three. And we'll be talking about that in a few minutes. But I think the idea is, when I think about a McDonald's, and everybody in here knows McDonald's. McDonald's is across the world. But the way McDonald's, if you know the story of McDonald's, the way they began to think about their business was much different when the brothers took over McDonald's. They began to think about McDonald's as not a hamburger place, but as real estate. Their theory was, it's not about hamburgers, it's about real estate. And so if you think about McDonald's now, they have real estate, they have people, and they have businesses all over the world. And if you watch them pivot, when COVID happened, they were, again, the industry leaders in pivoting in, okay, how are we going to serve our customers? So those people, we have small businesses. So for those people who, you may have a nail shop, or let's say you had a hair shop, and people usually come to you, they get a personal service. Well, during this time, how have you communicated with your customers? And that's, Kwame, when we'll begin to talk about systems, you have to have a way to communicate with your customers at a time when there's a shutdown. Now is the most valuable time to add value to your customers, even if they can't come in and get their nails done. If I were, had a nail shop, I would think at this time, I would be contacting my customers to tell them how to care for their nails while they're home, or while we're in quarantine, what they can do to encourage them. So this is the greatest time, even though we are in quarantine, to pivot your business, to get creative about your business, and also to add value. And I'll just say this, Kwame, we can move on. I have a couple of friends who have worked with corporations previously, to COVID. Well, corporations, have put things on a standstill. So I have a couple of friends that said, okay, listen, we're going to still provide services to you. We're going to still provide coaching and training, and we're still going to do online conferences for you. They said, don't worry about billing us. Now, most business people would say, what? They said, don't worry about billing us. You can bill us on the back end when things get back up and running.
Wow.
Now, they have, of course, been customers, for a period of time. And the corporation said, wow, that's great. So who do you think, when things open back up, who do you think is the person or the people that they feel the most dedicated to? It's the people that were able to help them transition and pivot during COVID.
Wow. And then the other thing I'll add is, the New York mayor or the New York governor? He said the coronavirus is a great equalizer. And I know people were going back and forth on that statement, but what I understood with that is, for small businesses, what this pandemic did is it neutralized all the competition. So the moment you are able to think differently, it becomes an avenue for growth for you. Because what has happened is a lot of businesses has been shut down because of the COVID-19. So if you think differently and you are able to pivot, the quicker you're able to do that, then you begin to get some of the customers that has been so hard to get because they had loyalty to maybe the existing business that has been in place for 10, 20, 40 years. But now it opens up an opportunity for you to actually reach out and acquire some of these customers that are still looking for services. One more story that I have read through, this guy in Atlanta that found a way to still do haircut. I don't know if he had people driving all the way from Florida, Barbara, just to come get a haircut because, and it was strictly by appointment. He was charging double the fees and everything, and yet people were coming because everywhere was closed. And he was fastest to respond and able to set up systems that made it legally possible for him to offer the haircut and still get people coming through his door. And it was a very powerful story, in Atlanta.
Yeah, and you can't do that. It's hard to pivot when you don't have systems in place.
Yes.
So the opportunity, Kwame, goes to the people who can see the opportunity, but not only see it, but seize the opportunity. SEIZE. Some people can see the opportunity, but they don't have the ability to seize it. And some people don't see the opportunity, okay? Wow. So you have to be able to see it and to seize it. I see the opportunity. How can I seize the opportunity? And that's exactly what he did. He saw an opportunity and he decided, I'm still going to run my business. How can I seize this opportunity? And that's exactly what he did in his business.
Awesome. So what I will do this moment is I want one or two people to share with me, whether you have had a solution, you haven't, it doesn't matter. I just want to hear from you. If you've had a business, how has the COVID affected you? And if you are looking for ways, we can help you think through. But if you also have been able to pivot, share with us how you did it and how it changed your business. I will open it up for anybody to chime in right now.
Just make sure you unmute yourself.
Yes, you're all muted, so you have to unmute yourself to be able to share. Anyone? So is it that nobody has been able to really do? Okay, I see somebody just unmuted. Do you go ahead and share? I don't see your name. It says
okay.
Can
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So
okay.
This is Marcia, and my business that I launched is a production business. It's called Sunshine Productions, and it's been planning to produce this movie for a couple of years, but finally sat down with the director last summer, and we got things rolling. December 3rd, we met and said we were going to launch production in 2020. Well, when everything happened, we had to scramble because we were on a timeline to get this produced. So the director came up with the thought to do auditions online. And I was a little bit apprehensive, but we did the auditions and we threw the net out. And to my amazement, we had 15 people audition in the first week from all over Michigan, even outside of Michigan. And as I hear you speak, I'm thinking, okay, well, that was a pivot. And so production is still on course and things are still moving forward. But that was one of the ways I was able to pivot.
That's
Awesome.
great. That's
That's
great,
awesome.
Marcia.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you know, Kwame, one of the things is to realize that even as we move out of COVID, if we are expecting companies and the world to be the same, it's not going to be the same. Because once companies realize I can do conferences, I can do online training, I can have people work from home, and they are just as effective as they were, as they are coming into the office in brick and mortar, things are going to change. So I just don't want people to sit and think, okay, I'll just wait until it's over with and then I'll go back to doing what I'm doing. You have to be relevant and you have to acquire the skill set that you need during this time in order to remain relevant after COVID's over. So that's a great story, Marcia.
Thank you. That's awesome. I see Galaxy A20. I'm sorry, I don't have your name on there, but I know you were muted earlier. You wanted to share?
Yes, this is Elise Watson. I am the owner of Cater to You.
Hi, Elise.
Cater to You. Hi. I am the owner of Cater to You Antiques and More. And what I have been doing since we reopened is that I have been reaching out to my customers through text and Facebook. And just checking in with them and seeing how they were doing, first of all, and then finding out what it was, you know, if they needed anything. And I've had several customers that I had to send pictures of antique furniture. Also customers that was looking for clothing. I've sent them pictures of the clothing. And what we're doing right now, we're doing appointments. We're having our customers to come in by appointments. And so that's really my business. I'm actually reopened on the 15th. And I have double what I was making before COVID.
Wow, that was a question I was going to ask you.
I am excited about that.
Elise, can I ask you, what do you, as the business owner, what do you attribute that to?
I think having a plan on how to reach out to my guests and to my customers. And so my thing was, like I said, I followed up with them with phone calls just to see how they were doing. And then I also put it on Facebook so that they can know that I had reopened. And then I personally called some of my guests.
So now, are any of those things or things that you will continue to do past COVID?
Oh, yes, by all means. Yes, because I plan on staying in business. And so therefore my mindset had to change, you know, and so, yes, I will continue all of those things after COVID.
Great,
awesome.
Great.
That is awesome. Okay.
There are things, Kwame, that companies would not do a year and a half ago.
Wow.
And we really think about it, there are things that we wouldn't do a year and a half ago. So even as I listen, you know, to Elise, the idea of being able to go on Facebook or social media, show what you have, and then make appointments, have people come in, people get to really shop and see what they want before they even make the trip, you know, to come in. So there are a lot of things that come up during this time that really fosters our creativity in reference to our business.
Yeah. And I would actually, this is a perfect actually way to segue into the people, process, and systems. So, and just to talk a little bit about this, so this is going to be a question from me to you, Barbara, but I'm going to set it up so we can kind of discuss it in detail. When you think about a small business, one of the things I've seen is when I used to do audit, right? I'll go into all these major companies, and then they all had, and that's how we're able to audit them. They all had systems and processes and things that they've written down, even just how they hire. You know, they have a system of how they put the information out, how they review the resumes, how they sit down with people, and all of that. And I realized that, okay, every single business that is a bigger organization have a system, and it's on the system that they build that foundation to grow. But I realized that a lot of small businesses that I begin to serve do not grow, and they can't grow because there was no system in place that drives their business. So they don't, you see, so because there was no system, they can't even measure the process and the growth of the business. And because they think they are so small that they don't need systems, so they just do the service and they just keep going. And I'm like, wow, if there is anything that I would like for small businesses to begin to think about, it's begin to see their business, no matter how small, as a business that needs system. Even if you are one person running it, you know, even if you are selling, for example, I'll use you, Miss Watson. You think about selling antique products. If somebody asks you what is the process, you have to be able to define the process in a way that is what allows you to grow the business. And the most important thing, and I'll let Barbara, you really chime in on this, is it helps you separate from your business as an individual. Your business becomes independent of you. And a lot of people can't get to that level because they cannot systematize their business, and they become so important that the moment they are out of the picture, their business dies. But go ahead, Barbara, and kind of.
You know what, Kwame, you're right on target. If we think about why most people start a business, you'll hear people, why did I start their business? Well, I want to pass it on. Well, I want freedom. Hear a lot of people say, I want freedom. I want freedom from a company that, that maybe does things I don't trust or believe in. But you cannot have freedom without structure. And people actually think when they have structure that they really are tied down or bound. Structure actually gives you freedom. So systems give you freedom. So one of the things that you said, which is absolutely true, most small businesses don't do it because they say, I'm too small for that. No, this is the time for you to actually put the system in place, because when you get that first large order, if you don't have systems in place, you're going to fail at the delivery of that order, which is really going to set your business back tremendously. So when we talk about systems help you to, as you build, not become a slave to your business or in your business, in the sense that I have to be here or it doesn't run. I have to be there or no one else knows what to do, because systems also involve people and being able to train people, lead people, teach people, multiply people so that your business can run even if you're not there. One of the things we say that the mark of a great leader is that wherever they're leading, it can run in their absence. And that's what one of the things that systems allows you to do when you have them in your business. You're able to define your day, what you need to do. If I were to ask people on the call today, what are the 3 to 5 things that you have to do in your business every single day? What are those things you have to do every single day in order to run your business? That helps you to define, okay, what is this system going to look like? And, Kwame, you mentioned this earlier. You mentioned it earlier in the week too. A lot of times it doesn't allow us to know how much our products actually cost. We can say, yeah, I sold those cookies for $5. And wow, I made $100 a day selling cookies. But did you really? Because if you don't know how much it cost you to make the cookies, you really don't know how much you made that day in cookies. And so that's for any type of business you have, whether it's a cookie business, a cake business, whether it's a coaching service. How much is it taking me to do this? And that really comes with the systems that you have in place.
Yes, and I want to add that one of the things too that I think people may not, when you don't have a system, your business can take off you in retirement. To me, at minimum, that's the most important thing. If I'm going to invest time into a business, then that business might as well be able to take off me and my children and their children. And I look at all of these major corporations and major institutions, they are no different from us. The only difference is if you read the beginning of all of these major corporations, if you think about Ford, Nike, Apple, is because when they were thinking about their business, they were building it with a strong foundation that will outlive them. And I think the challenge with a lot of the small businesses I've encountered is we do it here's a true story. I met somebody, Barbara, that was running a tax company. Of course, you guys, you know that I do tax and accounting, and I was trying to learn from him. And he had offers in the past for companies that wanted to buy his business for $5 million, and he said no. And he made a statement that really broke my heart. He said, I will die with this business. When he made that statement, my heart broke because, and think about it, he was also, I'm like, here you are, you've built such a powerful business that somebody's willing to pay you $5 million for. And there is no plan in place. And this gentleman is old. he's past 70. So he's done it for many years. And then when he made that statement, it broke my heart because it's like there is no desire to even create a legacy. Okay. My thing is, why would you even have to still work at the age of 70? What you have to do as a small business is build a system that can pay you so that even in your absence, the business can be able to, and it's just beyond taking care of you, it's also taking care of the generations after you in a way that makes sense. So I'll open up the floor so that you guys can kind of chime in. And Barbara, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you're absolutely right, Kwame. And that's what I said the other day. Think about the end from the beginning. Why are you putting up the business? Is it to sell? And I think you should always be building to either sell or for legacy. But because when you build a business to sell, you've got to have systems in place. You've got to have processes in place. Because when someone comes to review the business, if they do due diligence, they're coming to review the business. That's what they're looking at. Who are your people? What are your systems? What's the product? Is it in place?
Yeah. And I would like some of you to share with us. Tell us how you have systems in place in your business, or if you are struggling with it, let us know what the struggles are, and if we can, discuss it. Anybody wants to share with us how they run their business? What are the systems in place? If not, what is it that they are struggling with that we can help with that? Anyone? You remember, you can. I set it up so you can unmute yourself if you want to say anything.
Hi,
Go
I have
ahead,
a question.
Yes.
Hi. Following on from what you and Barbara would have been saying just now, how do you approach making that decision? Because Barbara would have known a little bit about my business, which is a medical practice. So it's a little bit difficult to make that decision about whether you're going to sell or have it for legacy. So just wanted to know a little bit more about how do you make that decision, because that will have some implications, as you said, on what kind of systems you set up in terms of keeping the practice or selling the practice in the future.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I think, Kristen, that the systems piece on whether or not you put systems in place, you need those systems in place whether or not you sell the business or even if you pass it on as legacy. So I think right now you start off with the intention of I'm building a business to sell it.
Okay.
At least to think about selling it. As business matures, as your life matures, as children come along, grandchildren come along, you may be thinking, I'm not going to sell this business. I'm going to, this is going to be my legacy piece. And then at that point, you may have the children that come in and start working the business, a number of other things. But I think that decision is you still have to have the systems in place and those processes, whether or not you're selling it or for legacy. So what I would concentrate on right now, I bring that up because I want people to think about it. Even if you don't know it now, think about it. But you should still have those systems that you're working on in place, regardless of whether you're selling it or whether it's going to be there for legacy.
Yeah, and I would say this, a lot of companies too, when they come to buy a business, number one, definitely they look at the customers, the customers that you have and how they can make money. But the systems is what makes it attractive, because if you don't have a system in place and you are the life of your business, then they can buy it, because the moment they buy it, they lose the whole business. But if the business has a system in place, then they can buy it from you and then use that system to keep the business running.
Absolutely.
And so either way you need, because think about it, when either somebody's buying it from you or you are passing it on, it means that you are taking yourself out of the business. And that is to ensure continuity. So for them to buy it, they have to know that the business will continue. And then for you to be able to pass it on, you have to know that the business will continue. So both things kind of require the same thing to be able to get passed on. There has to be a system in place for that to happen.
Absolutely. Kwame, we do have a question about a struggle in getting clients.
Okay.
And that's a big question that comes up in reference to small business.
Yeah, and then I think I'll let you go ahead and start.
Okay, and then you can bring.
I have one or two things I'll say with that.
All right, one of the things, I think the most important thing in getting clients, especially for a small business, there are 3 components to it: visibility, credibility, and profitability. And a lot of times we try to get the profitability without visibility and credibility. You may say, you know, I'm an introvert. I am, believe it or not, I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert, you know, I don't necessarily like people. I don't like people. I just don't like being around a lot of people necessarily. If you're that person, you still have to get out and be visible. You can have the greatest product in this side of heaven, but if no one knows that you're out there, if they don't know who you are. So for small businesses, that is where the social media has made a huge difference in people being able to attract clients. They become influencers in social media. They provide information. One of the things, Kwame, I will say is that most small businesses, or a lot of small businesses, especially if they're an information business, maybe like coaching or training, etc. One of the thoughts is, and this is an abundance mindset. You have to take on an abundant mindset. One of the thoughts is that I'm not going to give people all my information. So I want them to come in. I want them to buy the information. If you go onto social media and you add tremendous value to people on a regular basis, I mean your best information, understanding that you're always creating your best information, what people look at and they say, wow, if he or she were to give me that information free, I wonder what information they'd give me if I was paying for it. So people like to be able to know they work with who they know, like, and trust. So they have to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust you. Now, some people come and they may go to, you know, an Amazon. Some people shop with Amazon. They shop with Amazon Prime because they know if I order from here and I'm Prime, I'm going to get my delivery within a day. Okay. So they've developed that know, like, and trust. So the know, like, and trust is important to develop in getting clients. The visibility, the credibility, and profitability is very important. So I would say if you're trying to get clients, one of the things that you want to do if you're trying to get clients is to make yourself visible. Recently joined Saginaw Chamber of Commerce and building up social media presence to network and attract clients. Does this sound like a good plan? Yes. Let me say this. And so that was a question. The person said that they've joined the Saginaw Chamber of Commerce. They're building up their social media presence to network and attract clients. Does this sound good plan? Yes. But make sure that your social media presence is for the purpose of providing good content. And in the process of that, the thing that happens is the networking and attracting clients. Because there are a lot of people on social media. There are people on social media, quite frankly, that you get on social media and you're saying anything. If you get on social media with an intention and a purpose to add value to a person or people today in terms of a certain area, then you attract clients. You do not attract clients just by being on social media. If the Chamber of Commerce, no matter where you are, if that's your avatar or where your avatar lives, the chamber is good for you. Understand this about the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce, no matter where you are, is a volunteer organization in the sense that they are looking to add value to their members. The only way that you are good to the Chamber of Commerce is if what you're providing adds value to your members. So you have to start thinking about a win-win scenario. So I'll give you a quick example and then we'll move on. A few years ago, I wanted to do some things with the Chamber of Commerce. And I said to the Chamber of Commerce, I'm having a conference. I will give if you market my conference to your people, I will give your people a rate that nobody else has in the marketplace. So that was a win-win for them because they could go to their client base and say, listen, there's this conference. It's going to add value to the community. But however, because you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, you get to go to this conference at this rate. Nobody else has that rate. And so what they did is they came in and they marketed that conference to all of their members. So you have to think about, that's why it's important to think about win-wins. How can I win? And sometimes we've been trained up into the win-lose. It's not a win-lose, it's a win-win. Kwame, I have a couple of other questions here. I'm a medical practice and billing consultant. And I know in selling a practice, the AR is what is looked at, and adding PA or NP can increase the business more than anything else, or to add a product line to sell, which carries you through times like COVID-19 and telemedicine. You may be familiar with her. Oh, this is Kristen. Okay.
Yeah, I think this was taught for Kristen. Yep.
Yep. So she was making a comment. And then the other question was, when using social media, should you create a business page and not use your personal Facebook page? Yes, you should have a personal page and a business page. Now, you want to ideally use your business page because you are directing people to your business page, but your personal page is important. And Kwame, I've had this conversation with people before, that what's on your personal page is important. People want to know who you are. I mean, so if you go on social media and you provide content 5 days out of the week, that's great, but I'm telling you, it doesn't really attract the type of people you want. I was sharing this, I think, with Kwame the other day, or someone else the other day. People want to know who you are. So you have to have your business piece there, your personal page. People want to know who you are. So the most likes I get, Kwame, is when I post something about my granddaughter. Oh, she's so cute. I'm like, where are these people coming from? You know, I may get 200 or 300 hits if I put a picture on there with her and I doing something together. So what I'm saying to you is that you want to use your business page, but your personal page is important. And sometimes people think that's separate. I can put whatever I want on my personal page. No, because as a small business person, particularly, you are your business.
That's true.
So if I want to know about you, I'm going to go to your business page, but I'm also going to your personal page to see what you're talking about.
That's true. Yeah, and then I think that also ties even into the customers. It's a holistic, this is what I'll say, because I think Barbara did elaborated in a perfect way. I just want to add one thing. If you struggle defining some parts like that, I am a big proponent of seeking expert advice. Like when I need anything with strategy leadership, I always text Barbara. I have a question. I need help. When I was building my customers and I wanted to have a sense of direction, I always sought an expert. And what that has allowed me to do is not only build a system for my business, but it's helped me grow the business tremendously, because what I have realized is when I started my company, I had like 2 customers for almost a year. The moment I started engaging experts, I remember trying to talk to other experts in the area of marketing and promotion, and finding people that actually knew what they were doing. It took me to a whole new level, okay? To the extent that this past, I did over, we close over 60 people in their taxes. And even this week, I still get more tax requests coming in, because I had somebody build a strategic system to get clients to come to me. It might have cost me, but I can tell you that the benefits 100% outweighs the cost of it so much. Here's what I'll say. I'm not saying that you should always go out and pay money, but you, as a small business, you have to understand that you get to a place where you might need an expert to really drive you to the next level. And you should know that. So, and you should be very conscious. I'm a finance person, so hear me when I say this. You should be very conscious of investment. I know it costs to, for example, join the Chamber of Commerce, but the question I always ask myself is, what is the cost benefit? If I'm going to pay $100, $200 in this direction, what is the benefit? What is the direct benefit of that $100 or $200 I'm spending to my business? And for me, that cost analysis always pays off, because, as they say, numbers don't lie. So,
Go ahead.
No, that's okay.
I was going to say amen. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, numbers don't lie. So anytime I'm making that kind of a decision, I'll say, if I invest $200, how much am I looking for this $200 to make me on the other side? And if that $200 is going to get me 50 customers, will those 50 customers actually benefit me more than the $200 I'm investing? And how can I tie that investment directly into revenues? Like, thinking like that always makes it a win-win for me, because at the end of the day, like I said on Tuesday, fundamentally business is about money, and you always want to be able to make those decisions, and even getting customers, because the customers, you need them so you can make revenue. So if that helps you, then you have to begin to think about, can I invest? Maybe you can do $100 investment and get 10 clients. How do you do that? Where do you do that? Those are the questions you need to start asking yourself. Go ahead,
One of the things that I think also holds people back from attracting the clients they want is not knowing who your client is.
Okay.
When people say to me, I say, well, who are you trying to attract? I say, everybody. I said, well, when you say that you want to attract everybody, you're attracting nobody. Because you have to have the ability to speak to your client. So you have to we call them the avatar. What does your avatar look like? You should be able to explain to me what your client looks like, because one person, and some people say, for example, my client are, let's say my client base is women in IT, or women in whatever, or women. And so I said, what type of woman? Because there are a lot of different types of women. What do they do? You need to know your client so well. You know what your client reads. You know what they like. You know where they go. You know what type of places they visit. You know what they're thinking about at this time in their lives. That's how well you need to know your client, because when you get ready to write a sales letter or to go out and do sales, it's like if you hire someone to do advertising. If some of you have ever hired someone to do advertising or marketing, and you say, I didn't get a result from it, it's because they either didn't know you well, or they didn't know your client base. So I can do a wonderful sales letter, but Kwame, if it doesn't speak to my client base, it doesn't do any good. So yeah, so you should be, and this is how you know when you've done a really good job. When someone's reading your letter and they're saying, I got a letter one day from someone, they were selling something, and I was reading the letter, it was a sales letter, and I found myself throughout the letter saying, oh, how does she know that? That's exactly what I'm going through. I mean, I'm talking to myself through the letter, right? By the time I got to the end of the letter, I bought whatever it was. Because what happened during the process of reading that sales letter is that person knew me. Had never met her in my life, didn't know her. She didn't really know me personally, but she knew her client. And I remember thinking, this person knows their client very well. They know who their client is. So the first thing you have to do is narrow down and understand who your client is. For small business, sometimes we don't want to do that because we feel, Kwame, we're leaving money on the table. But actually, you're losing money. If you're trying to speak to everyone, you're losing money, because when you go to set up your systems, your processes, you're not going to know who you're talking to. And so you end up not attracting the people that you need. The first thing is define who your client is. That's the only way you can provide great service to them, is to identify who they are.
Awesome. There's a little more, but I want to actually also open up, because we've answered 2 questions. Any more questions? I don't know even if we can exhaust the next point, but I really want to make sure that we help somebody, and we only have about 12 minutes on this session. Any questions? Kimberly, I know you asked about the customers. One of the people, even on this platform, and this is really important, is really good at marketing. So I sent their site to you, and then you can check them out and maybe have a conversation to see what they can do to help you. But are there any questions? You can type it in, or you can just unmute and ask your questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
Once you get your legal structure into place, and I know that we talked about that, but what would you recommend as a time frame for going to the banks? And we talked about that, but to open up a business account. Is there, once you get the legal structure in place, so is there a time frame for doing that?
Yeah, I'll answer that with a question. When do you plan to make money? If you're in business, you plan to make money, you should immediately go and open up a business account.
Okay.
You have your articles of incorporation, go to the bank and open a business account.
Okay.
The worst thing to do, whether it's a business account or anything else, is have an opportunity to show up and not be ready. So if an opportunity, let's say you delay opening up your account for a month, and an opportunity comes up, and you don't even have a business account for that person to deposit the money into, You cannot wait for an opportunity to appear. You have to be prepared. And this COVID time is a prime opportunity to be prepared for what you're going to do 120 days from now. Prepare now, because the opportunity doesn't wait. Opportunity invites people in who are prepared.
Mm-hmm.
It's a prepared place for prepared people.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I would say this, even just as we are discussing, those three key things that Barbara mentioned, if you can take a whole day, even more than a whole week, and just develop your people, identify who your customer is, just pinpoint the customer. If you can I understand your process, really outline the process that you're going to take them through, and then define the product that you are bringing to them. So who is the person I'm looking for? How am I going to get them into my door? Whatever, you may be online, but how am I going to get them to the product? And know that what is the product that I'm giving them. If you can really almost define these three things, I think you are really on the move to take your business to a whole new level, because those are fundamentally the three key things that moves every and any business. And every business has those three things: the people, the process, and the product. And so one thing I'll say to take away is, even as you go through these 3 days, there are key things that you need to do that are fundamental to any business. But on you as an entrepreneur, answering these three things that no professional can do for you. You need to be able to answer them by yourself, even before you know where to seek help in your business. Okay, so this is going to be something that I think will be key to take away. We were going to discuss some strategic time management information. We're going to talk about some data application, how using data information or statistics to really make good decisions and all of that. We cannot get to any of that because of time, but I think today, just going through the people, process, and then the product and talking about systems, is really important. And the book that I sent you, the PDF, if you don't have it, I think I'll add it to the last email again, because I know new people register so that everybody can have access. That is a great reference book for all the technical things that you need to do in your business. Okay, it's a great reference book. So you can refer to that if you are thinking about marketing. It's just for information purposes. And then you can use that to make good business decisions and management decisions for business growth.
Yeah.
If you have questions, you can, but I'll let Barbara go.
So let me just say that one of the things you have to get past is being comfortable, because we all like to be comfortable. There are certain things you may not feel comfortable with. You may not feel comfortable doing videos, but videos convert. They convert into clients. You may not feel comfortable talking to people. Okay, so you need to learn to get out and to talk to people. So a business will grow you as an individual. Let me say, it will grow you. Just like if you have children, your children will grow you. For those of you who are parents, you've raised children, you've grown in the process of raising children, okay? A business will grow you because a business will also reveal you. A business will reveal who you are. A business will reveal your motives. A business cannot be just about money. It has to be about service. Because I can take your money, but if I don't service you, you're not coming back. Mm-hmm. So it has to be about both of those things. You have to get paid for what you do, but you have to be uncomfortable. And I'm going to say this, Kwame, because I know people are looking for resources. I want to just say this, because we have to know the benefit of free resources as a small business owner and the benefit of resources that you have to invest in. You will not grow your business without investing. And when I say investing, I mean you paying money out. It's not going to happen. Okay? We are in a place now where there's a lot of information on social media. I say to you, go to social media, get as much information as you possibly can off of social media. That's free. There's a time for you to get that free information off of social media. There is also the time, though, when it's time for you to invest. And I'm going to tell you how you know the difference. A lot of times you get on, people give you information, you get on webinars, And generally what happens, and you'll be looking for this now that I'm telling you this, okay? People on webinars will tell you the how. They will tell you the what. I'm sorry, they will tell you the what. You have to pay for the how. They will tell you the what you need to do in your business, what needs to happen, what needs to be done, but you have to pay for the how. And I'm sharing that with you because as small business owners, you have to recognize, you may say, well, I went to 10 different webinars and they were all free and I got some good information. Yeah, you got the what you need to do in your business. The how is what you have to invest in. Now, a good marketer, a good business person, I'm telling you this, so when you're marketing, if you give people the what and give people some of the how, I think, and that's the great marketer, the person who markets or who sells their product. But be careful that you don't get caught up on the what I need to do. I know what I need to do, and now I'm going to do it myself. And you can do it yourself. But you have to know when free is good and when it's time to invest. And I think, Kwame is really good at, you have to have somebody ask you the questions and look at your numbers. And if you don't have any numbers, start with the free, but understand there's going to come a time when you have to invest. Those are the two things, Kwame, I wanted to leave people with today.
Awesome. Yeah, so one more time, I just want to make sure that everybody's mind is clear. There's a ton of resources. Of course, we cannot, 4 days, even if we did 24 hours in 4 days, each day 24 hours, we could not cover what you need to know in your business. Definitely, there comes a time where you need to really get with the experts, like Barbara said, and begin to get detailed step-by-step instructions on how to really implement some of these ideas. But our goal for this whole thing was to really give you a good base to take you to the next level as you build your business, as the economy opens up, as you begin to think about what to do next. We would do the last drawing for today, 1 to 100. Please, if you haven't responded to the poll, I'm going to close the poll soon, so please do respond. And then give me a number 1 to 100 in the chat.
Hello.
Hi. Okay. So closing the numbers in 3, 2, and 1. Well, so in honor of July 4th, I thought about the number 4. So whoever has the closest to the number 4 wins. And there's a 10 from Tasha Park. I think Tasha already won a gift. Did you?
She did. Tasha's on a roll.
Okay. Awesome. So yes, the number 4. So we will reach out to you, Tasha, and then we will, okay, so let's do this. Let's try another number that I just thought of, and then this one more time. So Tasha, you get, but I'm going to do one more time since today is the last day. It's another number that is on my mind. So if you don't mind beginning now, please put new numbers. Okay, I have 3 so far. Keep them coming. Okay. All right. One more. So okay, now I'm going to close it in 3, 2, and 1. The number was 24, and that was the number Pastor Chris gave. And so Lula is 25. She is the closest. So we have Lula also winning a prize today. Thank you. You know the funny thing, Tasha was really close too. She had 20. She almost got it again, but
that's her saying, "Give it up, give it up, give it up." Give me my prize. Give me my prize. Kwame, there was a question. that people were asking, a couple people were asking about how they can, what services are provided by the
Yeah.
presenters.
Okay, so I'll go and then I'll let Barbara finish it off. Of course, my company is called Global Dime Consulting, and basically we do financial planning, strategic planning, or anything finance for small businesses. We do accounting and taxes. We do a lot of tax works for small businesses, and then we do small business advisory. What is unique about what we do is we don't just give you a report, or we don't just file your taxes. We always take it to the extra mile. So we give you report that actually helps you make management decisions. So we give you indicators of things that your business runs on. So that, for example, if you have a coaching business, we make sure that our monthly report includes not only just how much you made or how much you're spending, but what is your conversion rate? How does your this month's report compare to last month? What activities are changing? So you have some indicators to really use to make good business decisions, how you can use the finances to make good business decisions. Also, with our taxes, we do tax planning. So beginning next month, what we do is we reach out to all the people we do taxes for, and then we work with them to really plan for the year so that before the end of the year, they already have an idea how to structure their finances to take advantage of the tax system as much as possible, as much as legally possible, okay? But you can get that if you plan ahead. And so that is what we do at Global Dime. We provide financial services, and then under that, we do accounting, taxes, and all of that. And yes, so that's what we do.
Yeah, so my company is Purpose by Design. And one of the things that I'm really focusing on in this season is structure, because a lot of small businesses have a product, but they have no structure around it, the people, the processes, or the systems around it. And so I focus on that. So I take them through a legal structure for their business, financial, mainly I'm really dependent on Kwame, the financial structure, and then I take them into the marketing phase of their business in terms of how to put up an email list, how to develop an email list, how to grow an email list, how to maintain an email list, and how to connect those to the products that you're actually selling, and whether or not that's a product that is going to take root with your client, and identifying who your avatar is, who your client base is. And so how to grow that business through email lists, through marketing, through video, through active campaigns, through challenges, and how to really stay connected to your business. So where they fit in between the two is you basically have, we help you put the systems in place. And then, I like to say this, several years ago when I sat down with Kwame about my business, I was putting a product, I had several products that I was doing. I was putting those products in place. And another gentleman was there, and he and I were excited about the products. And Kwame, in his very gentle way, kept saying, okay, now show me the money. Basically, show me the money. He didn't say that, but in a nice way, he was saying, show me the money. And it was so helpful to me in my business to sit down with him and to go through that. And then he said to me, he said, how much does it cost you to run your business on a monthly basis? So he really got into the numbers, and I was like, ooh, well, let's see, and it changed the course of my business. So what I'm saying to you is decide where you are. We do a lot with beginning businesses and businesses that are starting out, but also businesses who are midstream. You've been in business 3, 5, you might be in business 10 years, but you really haven't made the money. What Kwame says about the money is about service, and it's about the money. So if you say you're in business for 10 years and haven't made any money, I'm the person to see.
Awesome. We have Miss Watson. You had your hand up the whole time. I know the time is up, but whatever was on your mind, can you share with us real quick? And if we have to answer it off, we'll do. But I would like for you to go ahead and speak, Miss Watson. You can unmute yourself. Okay. Well, I will say thank you guys so much. I don't know if Pastor Chris would like to give the final,
Oh, Kwame, you did. I don't know if you gave your website. Did you give your website?
No.
We didn't give contact information.
Let me put up my website and then my email. And then it's also on the last page of my presentation, but I'll put it up right now. And
Yes.
then whilst I do that, I'll let Pastor Chris go ahead and, close us out.
Well, great job from our presenters. Phenomenal job in regards to going over the information. Again, we say thank you to each of you who have joined. It's part of the Victorious Believers Ministries community outreach to help in whatever facet that we can. I do, as they stated, they talked about the chamber. As a board member of the Saginaw Community Foundation, I ask you to just stay tuned to them. There are other resources, there are different grants and opportunities that they award as well. So many of the foundations in your area are those who can help and really, they need to give 10% out each year. This year we gave close to $800,000 in scholarships and with just different businesses. So that is out there. So please look at the Saginaw Community Foundation. I think our responsibility is just to help each other, regardless of where you're from, who you are. We want to be a help and an asset. So thanks to our presenters. You've done a wonderful job. To the CRA Bank, we, in conjunction with them as well. And we'll get those who have won. We'll make sure that you'll receive your prize. But also remain safe. Do not take this time lightly. Look to see what you need in your business to remain safe if you're out there on a regular basis. And we're just grateful for having you being a part of this. God bless.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a safe holiday.
Yes.
Happy holidays.
Okay, goodbye.